Welcome to Channel AMAC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on a little bell on the side. So once we have all the updates and news just like today, a bombardment of breaking news coming in, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Now you may already clicked into my video because of the topic that I've shown, which is a very big news for the migration industry. So obviously there has been a plan which I have talked about since last year. Because of pandemic, obviously there's gonna be a huge drop on the economy, and the way that Australia fix it is bringing more migrants. Let's check out this news. Alright, as you can see, Australia needs explosive surge of 2 million migrants. Now how could this be? Remember a couple of years ago they were talking about, forget about big Australia, let's, we have enough people, blah blah blah, all the comments and things. But obviously you all know, everybody in this world know that in March 2020 COVID-19 hit the whole world. Okay, and obviously Australia took approach by building a fortress, by meaning that nobody can go in and nobody can actually go out, which had hit the economy badly, very badly. And obviously due to the reason COVID outbreak in New South Wales and Victoria, obviously that's the two largest economic states in Australia, they need something to recover. Let's have a read and go through it, and at the end of this video I'll also provide my comment and my thoughts how it would actually align with this news. You will be very amazed and interested about it. So Australia needs explosive post World War II style immigration surge. Now, post World War II, back in the 1949, obviously the population in Australia was very limited. So what had happened is they opened up doors for a lot of people coming from Europe, and that's when it started the whole immigration history of Australia, apart from 200 years ago where they had original settlers coming into Australia. So that surge will bring 2 million people over the 5 years, rebuild economy, that's the key words, and to address the worsened shortage of the labor. And I've been talking to a lot of employers, especially those regional ones, agriculture and all the other, not in the major cities. Really, it has become a very big issues around Australia. So the top bureaucrat last week urged the new Premier of New South Wales, Mr. Parrott, to seize national leadership initiative by pushing national dialogue on aggressive resumption of immigration level. Now, bear in mind, a premier of a state of New South Wales, obviously not the Prime Minister, but his role as the largest state of Australia, New South Wales, is very vital. So his view is actually bringing into a lot of weight as what he wanted to do, and how the state of New South Wales will take and bring the rest of the country go. An ambitious national immigration plan similar to Australian post-World War II approach would ensure that Australia would benefit the skill investment and population growth. That's the key, because without this, and I think it's the best time, as there has been a lot of support coming from the United States to build a new Australia, a new advanced Australia. So the top secret political sensitive document was prepared by New South Wales government top mentoring, and as part of income Premier brief put together Department of Premier and the Cabinet. It is understood that the advice was delivered by his desk last week. So that was last week, but look at this news. This news just came out this morning at 5 a.m. I don't know how it came out at 5 a.m. It must be had already been scheduled, but this article has been written last night, obviously. Now, inside of the new Premier is taking advice seriously. The Premier on Monday, which is yesterday, I believe it was late yesterday, said that the border needs to be open amid the general labor shortage, and that's big thing. Even look at the hospitality, look at the tourism industry, really need more people there. Okay, if we lose opportunity, those skilled migrants will go other countries. And there has been a lot of talk about this. People go to Europe, people go to Canada, go to New Zealand, things. And we won't get those engineers and those accountants had committed to other projects. So again, that will also meant the open up of more migrants will actually loosen the criteria. So the criteria was back in the even currently is very high. Now you may notice that the whole growth of this heightened criteria was since about 4 or 5 years ago. So they're going to loosen it for sure in order to get that 2 million migrant over the next 5 years. Now, how would that count? That's actually double. We will count that. That's actually double of what the actual budget. Remember, budget 2020 and 21, talking about increase of migrant level. And this is actually more than that. Whether or not this will be implemented, we'll see what happens, okay? So we didn't get away with the bed quarantine, blah, blah, blah. This is all talking about how the pandemic had hit Australia badly and affect the economy. Now, shameless push and skill migration. Why do they say that shameless? Because if you follow my channel long enough, you may notice that a couple years back, they're talking about not a big Australia. They don't need that many migrants. So when they talk about shameless, meaning that these politicians is going to go back to actually go and overhaul, change their original plan. Now, if you check the political history enough, the Liberal Party was the party back, I can't remember, 6 or 7 years ago. They were the one saying that we don't need that many migrants. But now, obviously, that's a shame. Now you need more migrants. So that's why the article says shameless. Okay, so the top bureaucrat, again, they are looking in the proactive role to actually open up the economy. But obviously, there's some resistance from other states due to the virus issue. So Queensland, Tasmania, Western Australia, and ACT is still really reluctant. They're resistant. But however, as the vaccination rate continue to go up, I think this ultimately will be the trend. And this trend is not likely to change anymore. I've been talking about this since last year, but obviously policy procedures will be implemented slowly rather than me going out just shouting around. But anyway, looks like the reality is gonna meet what I had expected. It is highly likely that New South Wales will open the international border ahead of other states, as we've seen already. And obviously that's all due to the control. Population growth since pandemic has collapsed, and that's correct, because not just the temporary visa holders cannot enter Australia, but there are a lot of Australian citizens and permanent residents left Australia. You may remember one of the video I had done before. There is estimate of 174,000 plus Australian citizens left Australia for goods, obviously due to the pandemic, and that's a lose. That's a net loss of the population, which as a migration country and nation, Australia had never actually experienced that before. That obviously that hit the market, hit the economy very bad, very bad. Okay, so that impacted the whole most wide-reaching post-war policy experiment ever occurred, conducted by closing immigration and mainstream driving jobs and economy activities for decades. Now this is so there's actually more net overseas migrant at 194,400 people in Australian population by the year of ending June 2020, a sharp drop from 241. Now this is including the babies and all that. So you see that the huge drop there is actually people left, and also the drop off the birth. I think birth rate is not much of indication here, but you can see that it's a lot of less migrants and the population growth there. Doubling of pre-pandemic rate would see the net migration leap to more than 400,000 a year. Remember, we were talking about in the budget 2020-21, they were talking about 200,000 a year, because the top before that, before pre-pandemic, was the top was 190,000 or 180,000, around that mark there. So they're gonna look. This proposal is gonna double that. The city population swell by 2 million by 2026. That's an even bolder proposal. So migrants do not restrain wage growth. So that's another topic that a lot of politicians are talking about, because they always weary that the migrant will take the jobs away. But currently the problem is business cannot sustain. There's not enough skilled people working in Australia. They need more people. So Mr. Shergold said that the post-pandemic recovery would trigger a fresh debate about the need of more people settling in regional New South Wales. So again, now this is one of the key as well. So they're talking about getting more skilled people here, but the original plan to get migrants away from major city will still be the trend. Don't get me wrong, they're not talking about getting more people into Sydney's CBD or Melbourne CBD or Brisbane CBD, but I think they are talking about getting more people to Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Cairns, and the regional New South Wales, regional Victoria, Geelong, South Australia, Western Australia, and also Northern Territory, ACT, and Tasmania. They're talking about getting more people into, so getting the whole continent of Australia populated like how it's populated in United States. And that's the goal. As we increase the migration level, once again, we also need to have discussion about the balance of strike between permanent and temporary settlers. I think this permanent settler will be more of a larger topic. It's going to be cover the whole thing here. Increasing of those who are coming to Australia and New South Wales has been people with temporary visas, whereas 70% of the traditional was take permanent settlers. So this is the old trend. That is the old trend post World War II. So I think they're taking this back, because in the past 5 to 6 years, they were talking about increasing temporary visa holders by getting harder for these temporary visa holders to become permanent resident. I think they are going to talk about more on how to relieve the criteria in order for temporary visa holder to become permanent. I think that's the key there. So I think that's the reason why it has been coined, the idea there. Today, however, the increasing number of workers depends on the working holiday maker, temporary skilled worker, and international student. Mr. Shell also reiterated the view of Productivity Commission. So what they are trying to say is, if we rely too heavily on the temporary visa holders, if there is a world event like what we have just experienced, the pandemic, these people all gone back home, and the whole Australia will be stalled, paused in a status where it would deteriorate and affect the whole economy. That's what they're trying to say. So that's why the paragraph above that is very important, because they're talking about the balance, meaning that they wanted to get back to the tradition where they're getting more permanent settlers. That means permanent residency to be issued there. The previous premier of New South Wales in 2018 called halving of immigration to state to keep up the infrastructure demand. Need a bridge. So that's back in the pre-pandemic. That's what I'm talking about. The Liberal government is always on the way of talking about getting less migrant, because the public infrastructure cannot hold, and there's just too many congestions in the major cities. Closed border now had caused all the problem, and population growth and next to non-existence. He said they predicted that by 2025 it will be 900,000 fewer people living in Australia than expected before pandemic, and the shortfall demand is about 350,000 houses and apartments. So again, this is the whole issue let me summarize this up. The whole issue is all around pandemic. Obviously, it's not just hitting and affecting or impacted Australia, it's impacted the whole world. Obviously, there are people died, and there have been people left Australia, because Australia is traditionally a migration country where a lot of people coming from different country, when their relative or family or parents back home got sick or got ill, they all went back. And then that triggers the issue of debating how the immigration policy should be reformed. And we have seen a couple months ago, I've done a video on this one as well. The parliamentary committee had agreed to actually lower the criteria for permanent residency. Now, this news today, 2 million more migrants in the next 5 years, I believe will be another trend. Whether or not it's going to be actually 2 million, but we can see the trend that Australia needs more migrants, and they want more permanent settlers, because permanent settlers, when a pandemic occurs or any major global event occurs, this permanent settler will not go. They will stay in Australia, obviously, for good. Do you have any other questions, or what do you think about this? Do you think 2 million is enough, or is too over? Why don't you leave a comment right down below, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.